Hello, everybody. Welcome to MYke 2cents. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about the Microsoft Xbox conference. So let's get started. All right. So what stood out to me, was two of their exclusives, which was Rise. That one. As soon as I saw that gameplay. Uh, I think that's what made me decide, hey, I want to get the Xbox One, regardless what all the negative criticism Microsoft received. And the best part about it is that a lot of it reminded me of the movie 300 so much, except that it's in Rome, it's not Spartans. So it's a pretty cool concept how they're doing a Roman theme, and the action, the whole fighting style, the swords. My favorite part is when they all form, when you get it, when the main character you use, when he gets his men and y'all form like a shield for the arrows. Just what a scene that I would see over and over in the movie 300 or The Gladiator. It's one of the most popular fighting scenes in those movies. Um, but I want to see more of it because a lot of the combat killing has a lot of quick time events. So but the developers themselves have received questions about it, and and they had said that it's not always about quick time events. So there'll be more details of the combat. So hopefully we'll get to see more of it before. Of course, we'll see more of it before it releases because it's going to be a launch title. And what also caught my interest is during an interview with one of the developers, that he was asked if there was any co-op or multiplayer, and he said, of course. Uh, it's a Roman time period. Um, they're gonna have the Roman Colosseum, so the single player looks so badass. I can just imagine what they can do with a multiplayer mode. Having battles going on in the Roman Colosseum. So, goddamn, this kind of just like hyped me up as soon as I heard that answer, even without any gameplay. Um, Another exclusive of theirs, it's gonna be launched also, was Dead Rising 3. I mean, holy fucking shit! I've never seen so many zombies in a game without any loading screens. And who doesn't love zombies? I'm a big fan of one of my favorite movies. It's 28 Days Later. So I'm a big fan of the whole zombie flicks, and particularly in games. But goddamn, Dead Rising 3 pretty much outshined um, to the rest of the zombie games out there. Probably since Resident Evil, the first one, not Resident Evil 6. Um, Yeah, but what I love about it is that it's whole open world. It's not linear, so you're gonna have to use your own instinct. Hey, which way to go? Which path should I take? And um, also combining weapons, and it's gonna be pretty fucking badass. What they show like was some guy got the main character. He got the sledgehammer, then he combined it with with a chainsaw, and he combined the two, and he was doing melee attacks, and then he just threw it at some like standing zombie and cut him in half. Then he gets into his car, and and he's getting to point A to point B, with the car, but even then he's still a threat while you're like hauling ass. So this is gonna be, so far it looks like the ultimate zombie game for the next generation, and I'm really excited to see more of it. And what's very interesting about it is that those two exclusives, Rise and Dead Rising 3, are gonna have smart glass compatibility. So it's gonna be really interesting what more they have to show to us. Um, I think so. And then top of that, let's not forget how the conference opened up the show, premiering the Metal Gear Solid game. Metal Gear Solid. Everybody calls it Metal Gear Solid 5, but I call it V because there's no number on there. It's just a V. So I'm gonna see it as it's not as a separate game. With Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, and 4, I think V is gonna be something stood out before. On top of that, it takes place before those sequels. So yeah. Anyways, the whole again, I can't believe how well they're pulling off an open world stealth game, and what we saw, how he was trying infiltrating the camp, and especially on the horse, and then the way how he was using the horse to hide himself, from the soldier. That was pretty clever. I've never seen anything like that before. But they said that you don't have to take the horse. You can like take the long way running. But in the video, they just want to show us features that what you can do. So this looks like one of those games that is you're gonna have to use your instinct to get around, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the best part about it is that it's a current generation system. It's gonna be on the PS3 and the 360. And the gameplay we saw, I'm not too sure what console they were playing on. If I have to guess, it's probably PC. But I'm pretty sure I wouldn't doubt it that it look just as good on the 360 and PS3 console. With the new Fox engine, it looks really fucking impressive. It's probably in my personally, it's probably better than the Unreal Engine 3 at least. Um, and at the end of the trailer, or the end of the gameplay, they got Kojima coming on stage, the man himself. So that's when he's in a good relationship with Microsoft. So it's a good thing that Konami is spreading their software to other consoles. For spreading their game for more audience, you can say. And let's go on to the next one. One that kind of like touched me was Killer Instinct. That trailer came out of nowhere. It like when I first saw that, like my jaw dropped. Like it made my mouth watery. I was like, wow, because I was so damn obsessed with Killer Instinct on the Super NES. I never played Killer Instinct Gold. It wasn't as good compared to the Super Nintendo. So when I saw that trailer, it brought back memories from my childhood, and they did a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie. Don't it in a way kind of reminds me of Street Fighter 4. The character models, because they're like really really buff. Like the way how they made Jago, like they made him too buff. Like I kind of like him. I kind of like him the slim version, but hey, whatever works. At least they got the combat in, and they got that maybe the same voice actor where he's like combo breaker, ultra. It's like I can't believe they're bringing that back. So yeah, they're bringing back the roots, what made Killer Instinct Killer Instinct. But they're upgrading it. And the visuals, of course, look good as shit. And the best part about it, it's gonna be a launch title, which is I believe you can download as soon as you connect the box online. But let's go to the con section. First of all, later on the conference they had a versus battle. It was the producer playing as Jago, and then just some random lady playing as Saberwolf. It was the worst. I'm not gonna lie, it was the worst way to premiere a badass game like that. The chick that was playing the game looked like she never played video games before, and she didn't get her ass whooped. She got raped. She was playing against a producer, and he pwned her ass. I was like, really? Like, why can't they get another guy? Another developer who worked on the game to play against a producer? But hey, what they show us, how bad you can kick your opponent's ass. I was like, yeah, that's Killer Instinct. All right. and it looks like it's gonna take some skills. I'm really looking forward to it. And and here's the worst part about Killer Instinct, since it's gonna be free, download via, is that the DLC characters, they had already told us that Jago will be the only character you will play as. As far as the rest, you're gonna have to pay for them. And there's mixed reactions. That I was annoyed when I heard that. I mean, this for every, I don't know how much the fee is gonna be to unlock a character, but I just hope it's not too pricey. At least keep it $3 or $5 between. I just, like, knowing Microsoft, I just hope they don't go fucking beyond the limit and charge us like $10 or $15 for a character. Now that'd be some bullshit. And the reason they're doing this is because they said that when we play, in general, not everybody is gonna pick every single character in a roster, which is true. I normally pick one or two characters. You get your main, you always have your main, and then you have your backup, your alternative. That's how it usually is. Unless you're really hardcore and master, more than fucking 5 characters or all of them. Shit, why not, right? Just gonna suck on your wallet. But we'll see how it plays out. And I if they're gonna make us do this, then at least let us try it out. Let us try out the character. At his not like like, let us try out the character, and to test it out and see how we like it before we buy it. And they better not, like, limit to the character, that what they can't do until you fully unlock them, which is buying them. So we'll see how it plays out. See, other titles that caught my interest was Forza. I mean, the least genre I'm excited for is racing games. I was never into racing games. I never liked the Need for Speed. Maybe Mario Kart. That's probably, yes, the only thing I'm open up to, which is Mario Kart. But when they first talked about Forza at the Xbox review back in May, all we saw was just like a fancy cinematic trailer, and that's it. They didn't show anything else beyond that. And everybody was pissed off, like, well, anybody can just do that, just show a fucking CG trailer. And that kind of pissed me off. Like, why would they even, like, talk about Forza? They could have just reviewed another game, even if it's CG, but why Forza? Like, that kind of pissed me off. And then I shut my mouth when I saw the gameplay presentation. It's like, of course, they opened up the game once again with cinematic graphics showing this badass car, shiny polish. Yeah, it looks great. Okay, it's expected. Duh, right? But let's see the gameplay, and then that's all I was waiting for impatiently. And then as soon as I saw the gameplay, I was like, wow, how fucking sick it looked. I mean, I wasn't even looking forward, like, even hearing about this game. I was just hoping they skipped it. And then when they show the gameplay, you see the way how it starts off. It's like in the cockpit. You're in the cockpit, in the driver's seat. It's not your typical camera behind the car, like a third person style. Like, no, it's like inside there. And I don't know if it's that the mandatory camera, but if I were to play this game, I'll just leave it like that way because it looks so cool. I mean, yeah, you got your details, the steering wheel and the MPH and the driver hands and the little rear head mirror or whatever. But it looks pretty damn playable, and going hauling ass against all those other cars. So I was like, wow, this looks pretty damn good. So if I do get, I mean, I don't. We'll see if I get the system, but Forza will be one of the games I would like to buy. This is gonna be my first racing game. I'll buy if it comes down to it. And yeah, if I had to pick a car, and I don't know if it's available or not, it will have to be an American card, a Ford. I'm a Ford guy. Of course, I drive a Mustang, so I will, drive, if it's there, I will easily pick the Mustang, no matter like how much slower it will be compared to all those other badass cars like those fucking Ferraris and Lamborghinis we saw. So nah, I mean, will probably be something I'll be really interested in, and I didn't understand it fully, but they said you can still be racing when you're not playing with the power of the cloud. So it sounds interesting with all that online features, all that little shit they can do. So we'll see how it goes. Again, we'll have to wait longer. All right. Cool racing game, by the way. So, another game that caught my interest was Project Spark. Now, when I saw this, I thought, it's just gonna be another bullshit Connect game. Nah, I was wrong. I mean, it's like, well, like, if you guys know Project Spark, then you know what I'm talking about. What it gives you the power to create. And, I guess with the power of the voice command, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing a voice command. Like, okay, I can understand. But, as long as they have voice command or controller support, even better, right? But, what that, like, brought my attention so much was because, all my life, I want to make video games. I want to be a game designer. And, I never had the opportunity to attend to Full Sail or Divide University, or I just never had the opportunity. I mean, it once came around, but I had to back down due to personal reasons. So, there goes my job. There goes my dream. Designing video games, and then nowadays just hearing developers getting laid off, right and left, right and left. From EA, or just other big publishers. It just seems risky. But but still, I would still love to be a designer because I just have a passion for video game creation. Like I guess sadly the most creation I ever done on a video game was doing the Forge mode in the Halo 3 or 4. If you guys know what I'm talking about, if y'all play Halo, the Forge mode where it just lets you customize your maps and all that stuff. Well, anyways, um, that's the farthest thing I could ever do with designing video games. So when I saw this Project Spark, it's like, wow, like this is something I can totally dig into and probably like put my best into creating a game. And and they said like you can create any genre, um, like it can be. So if I had to choose and if it's possible, I would love to make a 2D stealth game. I think that would be the first game I will create if I ever get my hands on it, and see if all that promises is not bullshit. And see, and then we saw towards the end of the show, we saw a, a teaser. We saw like a little clip of Halo 5, and they didn't show any gameplay, but it's very it's at the same time it's not surprise, but it's relief when I saw the Halo 5 tease trailer. Even though the new developer that took over after Bungie left, 343 Industry, even though they had already announced that it's a planned trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, it's just like, wow, like what pumped me up the most was just seeing Master Chief in the next gen. So, they just gave us details, 60 frames per second, and whatever the fuck she said. But, it's Halo, and that's like Microsoft baby. So I hope, I feel confidence that they won't fuck it up. And, if they bring in and like I said earlier, the Forge mode, I hope they bring it back. But, what I always like the Forge mode, hate and love about the Forge mode is, what I love about is creating and customizing your own level, doing all that shit. But what I fucking hate about it is that there's no bots. No bots. How the hell are you gonna play your own levels that you design or reformat it if you can't even test it out? I mean, what I have to do was whenever the levels I create, I'll just send like the past 50 people you know, on if you like if you guys know what I'm talking about, I'd be like go on the friend list, and then you know it has says like the previous 100 players you play with, like online. You know, I'll just send every single one of them an invite just to you know at least get like a decent 4-on-4 match. But it would you know it will happen, but it would take so long just to set up a match, and yeah, it would just it was a pain in the ass to even do stuff like that. But you know, I hope that if they bring I'm pretty sure they will bring the forge mode. But I just really hope they have the bots. I just hope they bring in the bots because you know it's two reasons I can think of right now is you know you can use the bots to test out your forge levels, or you know if it wouldn't make sense now, but or if you don't have internet or you can't get online, play multiplayer, then you know, or you just don't like play multiplayer, then you know you can have bots instead. But you know, for the second reason, it really wouldn't make sense because now it's required to play online. So, but yeah, we all know how that goes, but whatever. And I think the most disappointing thing like I didn't see from the conference was Fable 4. I mean, I played the Fable 1 on the first Xbox, and then I played the shit out of Fable 2, and then I dedicated my life to Fable 3 for like about a week and a half, unlocking every single shit, all their secrets. I fucking ate that game alive, and then you know I took a day break after completing everything, and then I bought the DLCs, and there goes my life again for the next couple of days. Fable 3, I mean, I love it, but it was so short. Or maybe I just played it way too long without even putting the controller down. But you know, surprisingly, no Fable 4. Um, it's all right though. There's so many titles like announced already, you know, that they showed that made it up. And then they had to end the show with a blast. Uh, they premiered Titanfall. Totally fucking well. Um, yeah, you can say it's similar or it has that vibe feeling of a Call of Duty, but you need to understand it is by the person, one of the main people who helped create Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare, because you know I forgot his name, but you know maybe there's like a few of them. Whatever the story is, you know they left the company because of lawsuits with Activision. They started their own Respawn Entertainment. Then they got a contract with EA to make Titanfall, you know, and it was a big mystery for the past 3 years, and it finally shows the big guns. It's like wow, so it's a pretty cool concept. You know, they didn't keep it Call of Duty like, you know, you know, yeah, it's a first person with guns. It still out, you know, it outstanded with, you know, with the mechs and then the and fighting off foot, and even as a foot soldier, you're not vulnerable because you know, if you've seen the trailer, then you can see what foot soldiers can destroy mechs in a pretty cool, risky way. So, you know, man, it's a cool demo what they show us, and you know, it doesn't matter. I believe it's gonna be strictly multiplayer only, but it doesn't even matter with the campaign because you know, even with the previous Call of Duty games, you know, people will just run through the single player, you know, beat it as fast as I can and then play multiplayer or hell, maybe like, if I have to guess, maybe like up to 60 or 70%, just skip the campaign and just get down to multiplayer. I mean, I myself, the majority of my friends probably never played a campaign, so they don't even know what the hell I'm talking about when I talk about the campaign. Like, fuck it, you know, we just talk about perks and what you can add on to your gun. I probably only have like one friend that do beat the campaign first that play the multiplayer. So I'm pretty sure the ratio is pretty bad with the single campaign. But yeah, Titanfall looks very great. Those 3 mystery years are worth it to wait around. And you know, it looks like it's gonna have a rival because it's releasing 2014, and another game that's gonna be released in 2014 is Bungie's own Destiny. Now, ever since Bungie left Microsoft, everybody's been like, what the hell they been up to? Try and get leaks or rumors, little things like that to see what Bungie's up to. And they premiere or they reviewed Destiny at the PlayStation 4 review conference back in February, and we finally got to see it at Sony's own conference during E3. And it looks like it's gonna rival against Titanfall, except that Destiny is not a strictly multiplayer. It is multiplayer, but it's an MMO. And what you got your Titanfall, your multiplayer, fighting, and then you got Destiny where it's like more like a socialized shooter, which is not a bad thing. It's pretty badass, and who doesn't love MMOs? And just leveling up, grinding your level, getting big guns, and yeah, what impressed me the most was, at one part of the Destiny demo, they they defeated a mini boss, and they get some like some power ups, and then they use that power ups to upgrade their guns, and then right on the spot, like they're like upgrading their guns, and you can see the change. It's like, what the fuck? Like, I never seen anything like that myself. Usually you just go to the HUD and then just put add on, and then yeah, but I've never seen anything exactly how Destiny does. So an MMO game. So we got two shooters, and I would not be surprised that there would be a controversial between Titanfall and Destiny sometime in 2014. And what comparison? So it's gonna be really fun. God damn, it's just so far away, but it's gonna be really fun to see those two games out next year. And if you guys saw the PlayStation conference, uh, to be honest, Sony didn't really review their. I'm pretty sure they have they have some kind of trick up their sleeve, but they didn't review their exclusives. Instead they showed the third party titles that are coming out this fall, such as Assassin's Creed and Ubisoft. Very good, don't get me wrong, but we wanted to see the exclusives, just what Microsoft showed us. And what they did show that nobody wasn't expecting was Final Fantasy 13 Versus, which is converted to FF15 now, which is really acceptable. Versus, when the premiere Versus was back in 2006. Year after year after year, but hey, where's Versus? Are you gonna tell us anything about it? Keep us updated, and we'll hear rumors that, oh, it's canceled, or are they just keeping hush about it, or everybody was just worried about it, and like I was worried too, because it's been 2006, and it's like, hey, it's 2010 E3, 2011 E3, 2012 E3, what the fuck, like I was already losing hope. And then when I was watching the Sony conference, they review FF15, and all I can say, it was worth the wait. I mean, yeah, it was an asshole thing to do for have us waiting so long and worry about it. But when they reviewed the gameplay, yeah, this is gonna be extraordinary Final Fantasy, something that we all never seen before, and it's gonna be next gen. And the character cast, they look brilliant. The settings, it looks like it's gonna be a modern, like a modern time setting. I was reading an interview saying that, yeah, it's gonna be a modern time setting where the city kind of like represent as like a like some represent like as Tokyo in Japan, but but more like a little bit more futuristic. But he says that when you go visit other cities, then it's gonna bring back that Final Fantasy setting that we all know of, like medieval times with swords, and everything's powered up with their technology is their magic. So it's gonna be an awesome twist. So I'm very looking forward to that title. And best of all, it's not gonna be exclusive. It's they're bringing it over to the Xbox One. What? Everybody's pissed, but why not? Square Enix need to step it up because they lost their touch. And I was a big Square Enix fan, even in their Super NES days. I was a big Square Enix fan, and like as much as I hate to say it, I was disappointed when when they've been I don't know, when they've been releasing so many crappy games. I mean, I like Final Fantasy 13. It was good, but just something that like wasn't that impressive what they used to release before. But anyways, followed by Final Fantasy 15, they show a teaser clip of Kingdom Hearts 3. Now that one blew me away because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only Kingdom Hearts fan that has a very large fan base. Kingdom Hearts 1 was really damn ahead of its time, and I'm pretty sure I wasn't the only one that underestimated because it has FF characters mixed with Disney. I didn't think it was gonna be pulled off. I thought it was silly at the time, but when I played it myself, I was like, yeah, I'm buying this game. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts picked up from there, and the only thing about it is that ever since Kingdom Hearts 2, they've been releasing so many spin-offs for the GBA, for the DS, for the PSP, just giving us bullshit when has already been strong demand for Kingdom Hearts 3, but Square Enix are just being assholes, the same way how they were doing it in those FF Versus days. But I'm glad that they show us those two titles back to back at Sony's conference. And you know, worst of all, Microsoft had a pretty good conference. It was really good. I was sold to get an Xbox1, and then I was like, wow, I'm just waiting for Sony's conference to show up later tonight. I wonder if they can counter what Microsoft just did, and yeah, they deliver their presentation, and then in the end, when they had Sony's president speaking on stage, he burned Microsoft with their policy, um, with the digital right management, trade in used games, or lend the game, or keep it forever, no online necessary. I mean, just the big things that would piss us off people to even buy an Xbox One. He just had to kick Microsoft in the balls when he did it in the end. And wow, that burned Microsoft so bad. That gave him a bad reputation. Even now, I believe uh, the PS4 is outpacing Microsoft with the pre-orders. So Sony's gonna have a strong launch console, and it's very questionable about Microsoft what they're gonna do. But we'll see how it goes. It's still June. The both systems don't launch till November, but as ever since the president um, burned Xbox, it has already started the console war. So the next gen console war has already started. We're just waiting for the release now. Ever since that bullshit he pulled on everybody at the show. So yeah. Next, um, ever since the Sony presentation, now there's been negative questions and reports towards Xbox, and and the tweaks that we all want, that will make us think twice about what to even get the PS4 or the Xbox One, which I call the X1. Everybody calls it the X-Bone, but I just call it the X1. But the tweaks that they should do, not just me, but the rest of the world, that they need to do is fix the DRM, the digital right management. You know, Sony are already stating that they're not gonna even mess around with that. They're gonna let the publishers decide if they even wanna do that to their games. Yeah, the option is there, but they're not enforcing it. Like how Microsoft is doing. You see, another tweak they should do is match the PS4 launch. I mean, the PS4 is gonna be $400 and the X1 will be 500. I mean, 500 or 400? Come on, right? You gotta be a dumbass to pay even more. But in the end, according to Microsoft, it's gonna come down to exclusives. So like such as Rise and Dead Rising 3. Uh, Sony hasn't shown us their exclusives yet. So we'll see how it goes. And of course, the one major thing is no online check-in. I mean, come on, really? Like, not all of us can afford the internet or have badass internet connection, like like how Microsoft employees do. I mean, shit. The past 2 years, I didn't even have internet. Just because I couldn't even afford one. Because I'm a student, and there's no way I can afford internet if I don't even have a job at all. When I'm just studying. So, like those, in those past 2 years, I was just playing nothing but Xbox 360 or the Wii. But yeah, anyways, please get rid of the online check-in because, I myself, I'm a potential, even with all this bullshit going on, I'm still a potential buyer to get the Xbox1. But, at some point down the road, I know I'm not going to have internet for some time. So I just hope they do something about the online check-in. So, just those three tweaks, the DRM, the match the PS4 price, and the no online check-in. And I'm not the only one who feels about the online check-in. I mean, not just me and not just us gamers, but you got your military and your students, just such as myself, complaining about the online service due to their personal reasons. And I can understand the students because they're not gonna have enough money to even afford the internet. It's like either tuition or entertainment, and I try to keep balance of both because I have a passion for video games, and I will have to say most of my spending goes to my hobby, sadly, but hey, I'm proud of it. And I can understand the military because there's some military bases that don't have internet or with poor connection, or they live in a nuclear sub, if you know what I'm talking about. They work at a nuclear sub, or just place, or they're at camp somewhere, and they can't, with no internet. So I'm pretty sure you guys get the point. But yeah, I mean, the military is on their ass about Xbox, and around here, I'm from a border town, and we have a military base. So a lot of the military people I know of, the majority of them have Xbox, and I can see that transition changing to PS4 in the near future. I would not be surprised. And they're gonna lose a lot of money if they don't get their business from military people and us students. And one thing I have to say is military did fight for our freedom. Why not support? Why not let Microsoft support the troops with no internet, along with the rest of the world? That's the way how I see it. But next, and then when they ask Phil Spencer, I mean, I guess he's one of the head honchos for the Xbox, and and they ask him about the whole online controversial, and he gave out a very shady answer, and it really pissed me off when I read it too. He said, "We have a product." Quote, "We have a product for people who can't have access to the internet. It's called the Xbox 360. Yeah, that's a bullshit answer. I mean, that is just one of those things that shouldn't even be said. I mean, I'm pretty sure of a regular PR Joe were to say that, I'm pretty sure he'll get fired, but this guy can get away with it because who he is at Microsoft. And lastly, earlier today over Twitter, that that dude Major Nelson, um, he on over his Twitter account, he confirmed an appearance at the Tokyo Game Show. I mean, this is something that Microsoft is not known to be badass at, because their Xbox do very poorly in Japan. It's usually Sony and Nintendo. And when he said Tokyo Game Show (TGS), I was like, I wonder what's gonna happen. I wonder what he means by that. If does he mean by because because they already confirmed that the Xbox One is not gonna launch in Japan. The same day. When the U.S. and those other countries will get it, it's not gonna be in Japan. So what's the point of even being there? And in a way, it makes sense because the Tokyo Game Show is always in September, and the launch will be in November, just about October, November, yeah, just about 3 months away before the launch. So it'd be pretty interesting if they actually do show games and if they pull out the big guns, because I know Sony's gonna pull out the big guns because that's Japan's E3, and this is Sony, a company originally from Japan. So and the president from Sony already confirmed that they're gonna go all out at the Tokyo Game Show, and that's when we'll see their exclusive. That's when we get the full specs, the full details. That's when we know what they know is what we're gonna know. So yeah, that's gonna be the big show for them. And why, if that's the case, then why would Xbox will show up to TGS unless they want to get burned again, like how they did it at the E3 conference? But we'll see. Or it could be another option. Maybe Major Nelson is just going there at just a personal appearance, just to spectate, what their competitors are doing, and that's it. Just simple as that. So I guess we'll find out what's gonna happen. But anyways, this is the end of my segment for the Xbox One. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at MYke Binetta. I'll write it down in the description below, and just feel free to ask me comments. Feel free to comment if you guys want to be mean, go ahead, or just ask questions, whatever the case is. But yeah, if you stuck with me throughout the end of the video, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.